Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Our today's topic of discussion is Crony-Penny model. This topic is basically the continuation of our previous topic, block theorem. First of all, we will focus on the introduction of Crony-Penny model. So what is Crony-Penny model? Why we need it? Basically, in the previous lecture about the block theorem, we have concluded that the potential of the lattice is basically periodic, which is modulating the electronic wave function to get a modulated wave function, which according to block is called block function. So the information about the potential is still very minor. So we want to explore actually what type of potential that is, which is basically periodic. But what is the actual nature? How? What is the shape of the potential wells if there exists some potential wells? So this information is basically provided by a model called Crony-Penny model. This is a simple model of crystalline solid, which leads us to the information about the electronic band structure. So first real model which points toward the existence of bands in the solids is Crony-Penny model. This model was first developed by Crony and Penny, two scientists, in 1930. So therefore, its name is Crony-Penny model. So Crony-Penny model represents the one-dimensional periodic potential, which is in the form of array of one-dimensional square wells. So Crony-Penny model gives us a true picture of periodic potential that is present inside the solid due to the positive ion cause of the nuclei. So this is the pictorial representation of periodic potential. Here you see the one-dimensional square wells. So along y-axis you have potential. Along x-axis you have position. So with respect to x, you can see that this is a potential barrier, this is a potential well, this is again a potential barrier, this is again a potential well. So basically, this is a one-dimensional array of square wells separated by very narrow potential barriers of height V0. So if you compare this periodic potential with the one that is provided by block function in the previous lecture, which is very much like a sinusoidal function. So in that case, there we study that the potential is maximum between the two atoms, in between the midpoint of the two atoms, and minimum at the nuclei. So if you focus on one of the potential well, then the center of the potential well is the point where the nuclei exist. If you can see my pointer, okay, at this point, this will be the position of nuclei, and this will be the position of midpoint between the nuclei. Again, this is the position of nuclei. This is the midpoint between the nuclei. So again, our older statement is true, that potential is maximum at the midpoint between the two nuclei, and zero or the minimum at the vicinity of the nuclei. So one thing which is very clearly differentiating this Crony periodic potential from the block periodic potential is that here you can clearly see that the potential exists for a very narrow region, and most of the region is basically potential free region. So commonly electron are moving in a weak potential or very low potential until or unless they exist between the two atoms or at the midpoint between the two atoms. So we focus at 3 points in this potential by dividing it into the two regions. One is this point minus B. This is 0. We take it as origin. And this point is A. If you see the symmetry, then according to symmetry, point A and point minus B are equivalent. So these are the points from where the barrier actually starts, where the step exists. So these are periodically equivalent to each other. This is the point after which the potential repeats itself, as you can see from point minus B and from point A. The potential repeats itself. So that is the reason that you can say that the potential is periodic. So we always focus on these 3 points, which is dividing this into the two regions. One is with the potential V0, this is which is the barrier with potential V0, and the other is this well with potential 0. So we have two regions. So you can solve this potential well and barrier. One is potential barrier, one is potential well, by using two different Schrödinger equations and using two different potential. In the region 1, the potential is V0, which is between minus B and 0. And the region from 0 to A, the potential is 0. So let's have a more deep look on this. So again, I have mathematically write the relationship of the potential with respect to x-axis. V of x has value 0 for the space between minus B to 0. And potential have value 0 for the space between 0 to A. Although we are dealing with a model which is dealing with one-dimensional array of potential wells, the important thing is its periodicity. So it is the periodicity of the potential that is playing a crucial part, which is a crucial property which results in the electronic band structures. So you have two regions, so you need two different Schrödinger equations to find the wave function in these two regions. So for first region, where potential is V0, this is the case. Equation 2 is representing the region, and where the potential V0 is 0. So if you put V0 is equal to 0, then you get this equation number 1. So these are the two different equations for two different regions. You know, V0 is 0 from 0 to A, and V0 is V0 from region between minus V and 0. So we have two different regions. So therefore, we have two different Schrödinger wave equations to solve this problem. Okay. So these are the ordinary differential equations of second order. So you can easily solve. You might have already solved in your previous classes. And the solution is presented over there. For the region between 0 to A, the solution is psi 1 is equal to A exponential iota alpha x plus B exponential minus iota alpha x. And for the region, for the barrier, which is from minus B to 0, when value of x is greater than minus B and less than 0, the wave function is psi 2, which is C exponential beta x and D exponential minus beta x. So here we use alpha and beta. So alpha and beta are basically constants, which can be defined using formula alpha is equal to 2me square root over h cut and beta is equal to 2m v naught minus e square root over h cut. So generally, we take the energy of the electron less than the potential of the barrier, so that electron have to interact with the potential. So we define two regions. Then we define potentials of the two regions, and then we define Schrodinger equation for these two regions. I again printed this picture over there. One is for this region, one Schrodinger equation is for this region. And finally, we have solution of these differential equations. So we have two wave function, psi1 for the well and psi2 for the barrier. So you get the solution. So to find these constants in the solution A, B, C, and D, we have to use some boundary conditions. So we basically use four boundary conditions over there. The first one is psi1 of x at x is equal to 0, psi2 of x at x is equal to 0. At this point, where both regions are combining, so this point 0 is common between region 1 and the region 2. So this is the point at x is equal to 0. So this is the point. Both regions are connected with each other. So their wave function has same value at their point of interaction. So the first boundary condition exists over the origin at this point. And the second boundary condition is verifying their continuity, that if their wave functions are same at this point, then the derivative of their wave function is also equal. So this is your second boundary condition. D psi1 by dx at x is equal to 0 should be equal to d psi2 over dx at x is equal to 0. So this is our second boundary condition. So for the other boundary conditions, basically on the basis of symmetry, we compare 2 points, x is equal to minus b and x is equal to a. On the basis of periodicity, they are same. So if they are same on the basis of periodicity, then you can apply block function over there. So their period is basically from A to B. This region is B and this region is A. This total region from minus B to A is A plus B. So if you have this equation, block function psi k of x plus na is equal to psi k of x exponential iota k n a. Here na C is basically the period, which is equal to A plus B. So on the basis of this periodicity equivalency, you have two boundary conditions. One is psi1 of x at x is equal to A is equal to psi2 of x at x is equal to minus B, because on the basis of periodicity, minus B and A are same. So this is x is equal to A. So correct it, x is equal to A, and this is at x is equal to minus B. So if this is true for the wave functions, then this should also be true for the derivatives. So the fourth boundary condition is derivative of first wave function with respect to x at x is equal to A, and derivative of second wave function with respect to x at x is equal to minus B. And using block function, you can modify these two boundary conditions. So in place of NA, you can write the period of our wave, which is A plus B. So here also you write A plus B. So psi k of x is equal to psi k of x plus A plus B exponential minus iota k plus B. So you have divided this term exponential iota k plus b on both sides. So you get this relationship. So using this relationship, you have modified our two boundary conditions. So this is boundary condition come from this equation. So this is psi 2 at minus b is equal to psi 1 at a with an additional periodic function exponential minus iota k a plus b. Or you can say you have applied this boundary condition on block function u actually. So in place of wave function, if you apply this boundary condition directly on the block function u of x, so you can get this result. Okay, so this is our third equation, third boundary condition, and this is with its derivative. So d psi 2 by dx at x is equal to minus b is equal to d psi 1 over dx at x is equal to a, and the exponential function remains same. Okay. So using these four boundary conditions, you can derive these four equations. The derivation have several steps, but quite simple. I have provided this derivation over there step by step. So these are the solution of the differential equation. So first of all, we solve first boundary condition. First of all, we solve first boundary condition. Psi 1 of x at x is equal to 0 is equal to psi 2 of x at x is equal to 0. Okay, so you have this psi 1 and this is psi 2. Put the values over there and put x is equal to 0. So you got a exponential 0 plus b exponential 0 is equal to c exponential 0 plus d exponential 0. By solving, you get a plus b is equal to c plus d, or you can write it a plus b minus c minus d is equal to 0. This is your first equation. Using second boundary condition, which is apply on the derivative at x is equal to 0. So d psi 1 by dx at x is equal to 0 is equal to d psi 2 by dx at x is equal to 0. So first you take the derivative of psi 1 and psi 2, then put x is equal to 0 there. Okay, so you take derivative. So this is on the left side, you have derivative of psi 1. On the right side, you have derivative of psi 2, and x is replaced by 0. So when you simplify it, you get iota alpha a minus iota alpha b minus beta c plus beta d is equal to 0. This is our second equation. Now we solve third boundary condition. Psi 2 of minus b is equal to exponential minus iota k a plus b psi 1 of a. Okay, so this is your boundary condition. So put the value of psi 2 of minus b over there and put the value of psi 1 at a. So use psi 2 and put x is equal to minus b. Use psi 1 and put x is equal to a. So you get this relation over there. So here you have minus beta x, you have beta x and minus beta x. So you replace x is equal to minus b. So this will become c exponential minus beta b. This will become d exponential beta b. And on this side, exponential function remain as it is. And in square brackets, we put the value of psi 1 and put x is equal to a exponential iota alpha x is now exponential iota alpha a, and second term is b exponential minus iota alpha a. Similarly, you have solved this and rearrange this. So it's quite simple. Here you combine the bases. So exponential iota k a b plus iota alpha are combined with a single base e, and same is with this term. So just rearrange this and get this equation 3. And finally, we have to solve this fourth boundary condition, which is for the derivative by applying the block function. So you have d psi 2 by dx at x is equal to minus b is equal to exponential iota k a plus b into d psi 1 by dx at x is equal to a. This is due to the periodicity. So this derivation is very much same as that of for the equation number 3. So take the derivatives and then put x is equal to minus b on left hand side and x is equal to a on right hand side, you get this relationship, this one, and rearranging all the terms on the left side and putting them equal to 0, you get equation 4. So you have 4 equations equal to 0. So you can find the non-trivial solutions of all these 4 equations by taking their determinants. So put the coefficients of a, b, c, and d in the determinants. So from the first equation, you have look at this point. You have a plus b minus c minus d. This is equation 1. So your coefficient are 1, 1, minus 1, minus 1. So if you see the first row is 1 coefficient of a, 1 coefficient of b, minus 1 coefficient of c, minus 1 coefficient of d. If you see the coefficients of a, b, c, and d on equation 2, which come from the boundary condition which we have applied on the boundary condition 2, so you get the coefficient of a is iota alpha, coefficient of b is minus iota alpha, coefficient of c is minus beta, coefficient of d is beta. Similarly, from equation 3, you can write third row. From equation 4, you can write fourth row. And if you solve this determinant, which is although straightforward but a bit lengthy calculation, we can simplify this relationship to a simple equation which is written over there: beta square minus alpha square over 2 alpha beta sine hyperbolic beta b sine alpha b sine alpha a minus cos hyperbolic beta b cos alpha a is equal to cos a plus b. So this has solved the major part of the derivation of Coulomb-Penny model. Now all further discussion will have to be explored on the basis of this equation. So our today's discussion is up to this point. So now if you have any question, you can ask. This is our discussion for today. Hopefully you have understand that you can ask your question for today's lecture.
सर एक्सपोनेंशियल से फाइन कॉस में आने के लिए एलर फार्मूला इस्तेमाल करना चाहिए?
जी बिल्कुल.
तो जो पोटेंशियल हमने इसमें डिस्कस किया है वो ब्लॉक थ्योरम से ही हमने लिया है. तो इसमें ब्लॉक थ्योरम 0 to a से a तक के लिए हमारे पास रिपीटिशन थी और एटम हमने कहा था कि भाई 0 पे अगर एटम है तो नेक्स्ट a पे एटम होगा, नेक्स्ट 2a पे एटम होगा. इसमें हमें पता नहीं चल रहा कि 0 और b पे क्या चीज है, 0 पे क्या चीज है और a पे क्या चीज है. इसकी प्लीज वजाहत कर दें.
जी एक्चुअली ब्लॉक फंक्शन में हमने ये तो देख लिया था कि जो पोटेंशियल होगी वो पीरियाडिक होगी, लेकिन ये नहीं देखा था कि उसकी एक्चुअल शेप कैसी होगी. तो Coulomb-Penny मॉडल ने बुनियादी तौर पे पहली ऐसी पीरियाडिक पोटेंशियल डिफाइन की कि उसकी शेप जो है वो वन डायमेंशनल अरे ऑफ स्क्वायर वेल्स होगी, राइट. तो उसमें कहाँ पे एटम होगा, कहाँ पे जो है वो यानी कि न्यूक्लियाई होगा, उसकी पोजीशन मैंने आपको ज़बानी तो बताई है. अगर आप किताब वाली पिक्चर देखें तो उसमें मौजूद है.
इसमें जो डॉट्स बने हुए हैं वो सिर्फ सेंटर ऑफ पोटेंशियल को वेल को जाहिर कर रहे हैं, जबकि इस बारे में वजाहत मौजूद नहीं है कि भी वो एक्चुअली अगर इंक्रीजिंग पोटेंशियल है तो वो किस वजह से है, उसकी रुकावट क्या है, 0 से b क्या चीज है. मेरा असल में क्वेश्चन ये है, 0 से b क्या चीज. 0 से a की हमें समझ आती है कि वो दो एटम्स के दरमियान मौजूद स्पेस है जो हमने पहले भी पढ़ा है. 0 से a की b की
नो यू आर टेकिंग इट रॉन्ग.
जी सर वजाहत कर दे सर.
जी मैं बता देता हूँ. अगर आपने शुरू की डिस्कशन सुनी हो, मैं दोबारा से इस डायग्राम पे जाता हूँ जिसको आप डिस्कस कर रहे हैं. लिसन. सो आप मेरे पॉइंटर पे फोकस कीजिएगा और थोड़ा सा ब्लॉक थ्योरम में जो हमने पोटेंशियल के बारे में पढ़ा था उसको ज़हन में रखिएगा. बेसिकली हम थ्योरी को नहीं बदल रहे, हम शेप को बदल रहे हैं, राइट. तो फोकस एट दिस पॉइंट. Look at my pointer.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is the position where the nuclei exist.
Yes, sir.
Now come at this point. You can see my pointer. This is the second potential well. My pointer showing the second nuclei. So if you memorize our previous concept from the block function, where we said that the potential is minimum at the nuclei and maximum between the atoms, right?
Sir.
यही कहा था?
And 0 to B is the space between them.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Not all space. Basically, this is showing that the barrier is very narrow. So potential exists in steps in the narrow space, and that space is at the midpoint between the atoms, where actually potential exists. Right? So when electrons are very close to nuclei, they feel practically no potential. Yes.
यानी कि all the way nuclei to nuclei अगर इलेक्ट्रॉन ट्रांजिशन कर रहा है तो all the way वो फील नहीं करेगा, between the small region उसमें आता है
जी, between the small region उसे बैरियर से इंटरेक्ट करना पड़ेगा जो पोटेंशियल की वजह से.
ओके सर, क्लियर.
स्टेप की फॉर्म में उसमें कंटिन्यूअस वेरिएशन शो की थी, ये एक जेन में रखें बात. उसमें एक कंटिन्यूअस साइनोसाइडल लाइक वेव बना के शो की थी. यहाँ आपने स्क्वायर वेव की फॉर्म में शो किया है ऐसे पोटेंशियल की वेरिएशन.
सर हमने यहाँ पे NA पहले हमने जो L किया था L = NA और इसकी जगह पे हमने A + B पुट किया, लेकिन हमारे पास जो डिस्टेंस है ये तो एक न्यूक्लियर दूसरे न्यूक्लियर की तुम्हारा मेंशन नहीं किया क्योंकि -B और 0 है, फिर 0 से A है. इसकी थोड़ा
ये न्यूक्लियाई के दरमियान डिस्टेंस नहीं है. अगर आपने पिछली डिस्कशन देखी हो तो ये वेल का जो सेंटर है यहाँ पे एक न्यूक्लियाई मौजूद है, दूसरा न्यूक्लियाई यहाँ पे मौजूद है. ये मिड पॉइंट है. दिस वन दो न्यूक्लियाइज के दरमियान की पोजीशन है. ये मिड पॉइंट है. राइट?
यस सर. यस सर. ठीक
है. अब Na जो है वो टोटल लेंथ के लिए है चेन ऑफ एटम. पहला और आखिरी पोजीशन हमेशा सेम, पहला और आखिरी एटम जो है वो इंटरकनेक्टेड कंसीडर किए जाते हैं, इसलिए Na लिया था. ठीक है. वरना अगर आप पीरियोडिसिटी चेक करना चाहें तो आप एटम टू एटम जाएंगे. X + A, X + 2A, X + 3A, X + 4A एंड सो ऑन. X + Na तक आपको पीरियोडिसिटी मिलेगी क्योंकि लेटेस्ट में हर जो लेटेस्ट पॉइंट है वो पीरियोडिकली इक्विवेलेंट है. राइट? आप समझ रहे हैं? लेटेस्ट के अंदर तमाम लेटेस्ट पॉइंट्स इक्विवेलेंट होते हैं, इसलिए जो लेटेस्ट हम डिस्कस करते हैं हम उन्हें ब्रेवियस लेटेस्ट कहते हैं.
सर अगर पीरियोडिसिटी है तो फिर इसका मतलब है कि 0 से -B और 0 से A तक दोनों डिस्टेंस इक्वल हैं.
सर कंफ्यूजन इस वजह से आ रही है कि डायग्राम में जो डॉट्स बने हुए हैं उन्हें सर न्यूक्लियाई समझ लें तो फिर सर सारा क्लियर हो जाता है.
इस डायग्राम में मैंने डॉट्स दिखाए नहीं हुए, आप यही डायग्राम देख रहे हैं. अगर आप मेरे पॉइंटर को देख लें तो इसको न्यूक्लियाई समझ लें.
सर फिर क्लियर हो जाए.
जी, आप मेरे पॉइंटर अगर आपको नजर आ रहा है तो आप इसको न्यूक्लियाई समझ लें. राइट? तो बेसिकली आपकी वेव जो है वो अगर मैं दिखा सकूं पॉइंटर को फिक्स करके तो ये है. यहाँ से शुरू होगी लाइक दिस और यहाँ खत्म हो जाएगी. तो इस तरह की बहुत सारी वेव्स एक दूसरे के साथ जुड़ी हुई हैं जो बिल्कुल सिमिलर हैं, बिल्कुल एक जैसी हैं. राइट? बार बार रिपीट हो रही हैं तो हम इसलिए कह रहे हैं कि ये पीरियडिकली रिपीट हो रही हैं वेव्स जो कि हमारी पोटेंशियल को रिप्रेजेंट कर रही हैं. जी, कोई और क्वेश्चन हो तो आप जल्दी से पूछ लें. वी आर शॉर्ट ऑफ टाइम. इफ देयर इज एनी क्वेश्चन. Okay, thank you very much for having this interaction. You can ask your question in your WhatsApp groups, in the comments of the YouTube, or in our next discussion. Thank you.